Okay, so come on, load up. Hello, who's watching?
Not me. I'm going to go and sit outside for a few minutes to do this. Okay.
Share.
Get down.
Group.
Get down.
So we have a table outside and Coco's on it, like stood on the table. She likes doing that because then she can see what the neighbours are up to and also see into the kitchen at the same time. She's quite smart. But Dad, did you do the mic already?
Yeah, it's over.
Okay, cool. So I don't need to check. Hello, everyone. Just checking you can hear me all right, because we're using a new, or well, the laptop rather than the desktop. So I can't hear myself. So if everything's all right, then I shall proceed. Hello, Christina. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Francis. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Sue. How are you all doing? Hi, Kath. It is very intelligent of her, Francis, isn't it? We have a video of a window down the edge of the kitchen facing out into the garden, and it's just in front of the table where Coco stands, so she can see into the house, and the house is like, this part is open plan, so she can see all of us, and then she can also see all of the neighbours over the fences. So she's found her little hiding spot. Dad, that's really distracting. He's got my video playing outside. I can hear myself. Yeah, you're giggling away. Actually, Alison, let me know if you do try it with sour cream, because I'd be interested to hear. I mean, I'm sure it would work. I might as well get started. Right, cheesecake base. So we were looking for our slightly bigger tin. This is 7 or an 8 inch, and we've got like a 9 or 10, which works as a really nice. It gives really decent sized slices. So I might not put all of the mix in this at one go. I might, put some of it in a smaller tin. So we'll see how we go. But this one will make a really deep cheesecake. I'm just conscious of, if I'm cooking it, which I will be, I'll cook it in a Ninja grill. It might cook too quickly on top. So I'll see. Right, base first. So the book says for the base, 75 grams of ground almonds and 75 grams of ground pecans. The pecans are a really nice touch because they really, really work with the chocolate. They make it almost taste like caramel. So I've got those. Instead of ground almonds, we do have some in the cupboard, but I can't bother to get them down, and I want to try them with hazelnuts anyway. So I've got some hazelnuts that I'll also mill down, and I also have some sunflower seeds. I use these quite a lot in baking if I don't have ground almonds, and they work really well. These are milled in this. They're not as fine as ground almonds you get from the store, but they still work, especially for something like a base, which doesn't need, like, if it was a cake, I wouldn't use them because they're a bit grainy. But for bases, it's fine. So it's basically going to be a mishmash of seeds and nuts. So I'm going to use 75 grams of pecans. And to save you the hassle of writing the recipe down as I'm speaking, because I will forget some measurements, I've linked it in or Dad's linked it in the video description, so you'll find it there, or just search cheesecake on the website. Okay, so pecans are really soft compared to hazelnuts, so I'm going to mill these down first and then transfer them to the bowl. And actually, before I do this, we can get the butter melting. I've been making some granola this morning, or trying out a new type of granola recipe. So that's why the bowl has a bit of remnants in it. It's got the remnants of mixed spice in there, so it'll have a very, very slight hint of mixed spice in the base, but we might not be able to taste it when it's all in. Oh, I need 8 more grams. So this is just standard unsalted butter. There we go, 50 grams. Now I'm going to pop a lid on this and microwave it just to melt it whilst we do the seeds. Now, I realise you can hear me, so I'm just by the grill. I don't need to turn it on yet because it takes seconds to preheat, but I do have my tray of nut-free granola that I'm working on. So that's what's been baking so far today. Oh yeah, it's gone nice and crispy. Okay, I'll show that in a minute. Right, pecans. Too many things going on at once. Right, little food processor. Actually, where is... That's the one I want. Little mat. Safety first. Okay. So you don't want to overmill these, but you're very rarely going to go overboard in a processor like this. If you're using a NutriBullet, you've got to be careful because it will turn into pecan butter really quickly. But this is fine. It's exactly how I want it. Okay, so look at the butter. Yeah, that's melted. There's a little bit that's still slightly soft rather than melted, but it'll melt down as I'm adding everything else in. So pecans are in. Okay, and I'm going to chuck the sunflower seeds in just so I know how many hazelnuts I need. So we'll need another 75 grams in total. So put that in. Okay, so we've got 16 grams of milled sunflower seeds. So I'm going to top it up with hazelnuts. Oh. I went properly overboard there. Quite heavy compared to pecans. Alright, that'll do. There's 80 in there. Okay. And same again, these might take a little bit longer just because they're a little bit tougher to blitz down. And there we go. So that's the first stage. If you were making like a hazelnut butter or the chocolate hazelnut spread from the website, that's the first stage, is blitzing it down into a crumb, and basically you just keep going and it goes into a nut butter. It starts to clump together and then the heat breaks it down. I might make some hazelnut butter. Alright, butter and the 2 or 3 types of base ingredients. So I've got ground pecans, ground hazelnuts, and a little bit of milled sunflower seeds that were left over. I'm just combining them together, and obviously you can see it's kind of turning into a biscuity base. 10 grams of sweetener is the next thing. Obviously adjust this to your taste. I will use the full 10 just because the cheesecake itself is quite rich because it's chocolate with more chocolate on top. Francis says you're very noisy. He is.
Sorry. Well, I just put away all the trays that you got out.
We had to kind of like dismantle the kitchen to try and find this big springform cake tin, and we still can't find the base. It's gone off somewhere, so we're using a little one. Okay, base done. All right, so I'm just going to preheat the Ninja. Book says 180 for the base for 15 minutes. I'll put the Ninja on 160. It's already fairly warm because I've been baking in it a couple of minutes ago, and it'll probably take no more than 10 minutes. There we go. That's preheating. So I've already got, that can move out of the way. Already got my grease-proof paper. So, morning Keto Fitness Club, is that Michelle? So I'm just trapping the grease-proof. I like to do this, obviously you don't have to. And then I run a knife round to dislodge the cheesecake from the sides, but this works as long as you make sure it's pressed into. Louis tried to do this before and then forgot to press the base all the way around, and it fell out halfway through, transferring to the oven. So grease-proof paper is down. Here's the base. Do you know what? I'll just all whack it in here. Might mean we get 10 slices rather than 12. But who's complaining? Okay. Sounds like a black hole of the kitchen. Things just go missing. It's like the chopping boards that went missing, and now it's cake tin bases. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there because I'm going to mix the cheesecake mix in that. You know, you can, if you want, use another bowl, but it's just more washing up. I'm just pressing it down. This is going to be quite a thick base. I'm pressing it down into the tin with the flat of the spoon. It smells great. Honestly, if you haven't used pecans in a base, and actually the same goes for the hazelnuts, these are my favorite combo when it comes to a cheesecake base. If you haven't used pecans yet, you're missing out. Right, I'm just going to get a smaller spoon because that was a little bit too difficult to press the middle. There we go. Doorbell. Okay. There we go. So I can tell that's going to have a lovely crunch to it because of the milled pecans and hazelnuts. Oh, sorry, hazelnut and chocolate. Whoa. Yes, Francis, we did find the chopping boards. they were back behind there, but they got stuck halfway. So when we looked underneath, you couldn't see them, and it was only when I think we moved the cabinet for something and we heard them fall. We were like, oh. All right, base pressed in. So that's going to go in the grill. It's already beeped at me saying it's preheated. I'll put the timer on for about 7 minutes, and we'll see how it does. So, 7 minutes. And we can always bake it for a little bit longer if it needs it. Okay, coffee break. So, the next stage is obviously the cheesecake middle, which is 600 grams of cream cheese, 2 large eggs, 20 grams of sweetener, 50 grams of melted chocolate, and 20 grams of cocoa powder. Now, I can actually credit Louis for this recipe because he was the one that came up with this. So I gave him the vanilla cheese. So I had the vanilla cheesecake recipe, so the baked one, and Louis wanted a chocolate one. And he started by just adding the melted chocolate to it, so the 50 grams of melted chocolate. And we were like, that's given it a great texture. It's very, very silky. But for us, it wasn't dark enough. It didn't have that chocolatey taste. it had a hint of it. So we added some cocoa powder to it. You don't want too much because obviously cocoa powder absorbs a lot of moisture, but just 20 grams across the whole mix. It really worked. It really worked. And the topping as well, the ganache, is also Louis. So this is a Louis creation, one that worked. All right, so yeah, what I was saying was this is going to be quite a quick live, I think, purely because it bakes. So the middle bakes for an hour at 160. Normally, it probably is going to take maybe 45 to 50 minutes at maybe 140 in the grill. So if you're using something like a fan oven, then go along those same lines, reduce the temperature, reduce the time. Just be aware that it won't take as long to bake. That being said, it's going to be quite a deep cheesecake, so it might take a full hour. But I'm going to keep the temperature nice and low so it doesn't burn on top before fully baking all the way through. Okay, so I'm going to use the bowl that I use for the base, purely to save washing up, and you know, we can get the leftover butter and whatnot in there as well. So what does it say? Whilst the base is in the oven, melt the chocolate in a large mixing bowl and then whisk in the cream cheese, eggs, sweetener and cocoa powder. So chocolate first. So I'm using the Aldi 85% cocoa. You can use up to, well, whatever percentage you want. We normally have 85 and 95 in the cupboard. I just grabbed this one down, so we're using 285 bars today. If you're just starting out, you can always go down to 70% if you're not a fan of the bitterness. Just be aware that the carb count will increase a little bit. There we go. So that's going to go in the microwave. I won't pop a lid on. I'm going to microwave this for 30 seconds, give it a little bit of a mix, pop it back in, and it'll probably take 1 minute to 1 minute and a half to fully melt. You don't want to stick it in for a full 90 seconds or whatever. Very from your body burning. So 30 seconds. Okay. So chocolate is in the microwave. I'll tell you what I need to do is open up these cream cheese pots. So we've got 3 fresh tubs of cream cheese unopened, which means I've got to try and open the foil 3 times, and I can never do it in one piece because it always just breaks. It's highly irritating. So yeah, it's already broken. Look at that. What a doubt, run a knife round, but I don't need to care about you know, using a dirty knife. I say dirty with butter on it, because it's all being used for the cheesecake. So it's not being used for anything else. So Alison, this is where you'd use your sour cream and hope it works. There's no reason why it shouldn't do. It works in the berry bake, which is essentially a cheesecake, a crustless cheesecake. If you haven't tried that yet, it's great. I make them in the little ramekins. They're lovely. Okay, there we go. 3 pots of cream cheese. The microwave's beeped at me. So I'm just giving it a bit of a shake, just so it's not staying in one place. And then it's in for another 30 seconds. It's only just started to melt anyway. Hi Jay. So what's everyone else up to today? We've got a busy day. I mean, we've already had a busy morning. So went to our PT, did a lot of mobility work today because Dad's got his run on Monday. That was painful. We've got the foam rollers out and resistance bands, doing lots of stretching, and like I've got an issue with my shoulder, I've realised, so that was sore, but it was really good. And we came home. We've cleaned out the workout room, so that's empty because we've got David coming round in an hour or so to take some new photos. So we're using the workout room as like a photo studio because it's got white walls, nice lighting, it's easier. And then we've got Dan and Chris coming to visit. They're on their way to Lincoln for the marathon on, what day is it? It's Saturday, so on Monday. So they're stopping by to say hi. Okay, so that's, alright, so I've just opened the grill. That's going to need a little bit longer. It's coming together nicely, but it's not gold yet, so give it another 4 minutes. And then top it in the shake, that'll be less than 30 seconds. Just to melt a little bit more. Nice, just on boot camp. What did you do?
Well done.
Lots of burpees. Lots of star jumps. Any weights? What kind of boot camp? Okay, so the book does say whisk, but I've recently really started to like using a little spatula, especially for this kind of thing where it's not a lot of flour, so you don't need to break up any clumps. There we go. Chocolate is melted. It smells great. Right, I'll just add in the cream cheese now. So each one of these tubs is 200 grams. I need 3 of them. Okay. 1 done. Nice. Oh, there's a little bit of foil there. Hold on. There we go. This must be really interesting, just watching me empty various tubs of ingredients. Like everything, this recipe is just mix it in a bowl. But obviously it's in 3 stages, so it's a little bit more complicated. This is what I call complicated. Just mix it in a bowl, but you're doing it 3 different times. There's no whisk to form peaks or whatever. It's just make it all smooth. So there's the last bit of cream cheese. I'm going to mix this in first and then add the eggs and stuff, just to make life easier. And obviously it'll cool down the chocolate as well, so the eggs won't cook. All right. Got cream cheese on my hands. I think that is, Anita, yeah, Aldi cream cheese. You've just got to be careful because some of them actually contain salt. I think this one does, but we can't taste it, so it doesn't really affect us. But someone made a cheesecake, and it was from Lidl cream cheese, and it must have been quite salty. Apparently it wasn't very nice. Yeah, this one does have a bit of salt in. But no flowers, which is good. Yeah, Emporium, Aldi stores. Let me just have the hands. Okay, so mixing the chocolate in. I'm kind of folding it in, kind of just squishing it all together. There's no real method to this. All right, so I prefer you shop in normal shops. So easy for all of us to follow. Yeah, we don't like going to lots of specialist stores and whatnot. So Aldi's our shop of choice most of the time. Eggs. What else is going in? Sweetener and cocoa. So Again, when I say sweetener, I mean a stevia and erythritol blend. So please, if it's not one of the ones that we suggest on the website, there is a page. If you search sweeteners on the website, you'll find it. We use Truvia, Natvia, and Purevia sweeteners in our recipes. So that's why when in any of our recipes in the books or on the website, we specifically say what sweetener, because obviously it does depend on which one you use. But do check your ingredients. Make sure you've not got one that's maltodextrin based. Almost there. 2 more grams. Come on. There we go. All right. So now we just carefully mix it in. There is a lot of mix here. So I will be. Do you know what I might do? Is obviously the whole base went in the tin, but this might be a lot of mix to put on top of it. So I might make some, pour some of these in little cupcake cases and make little baseless cheesecakes. Basically little cheesecake bites. Oh, I might do that. I've tried that before. That'd be good. Actually, this is a lot easier to mix in than I thought. Obviously the eggs help it, don't they? So there we go. It smells great. The recipe doesn't call for it, but this is where you could add things like, I did this last time. The last time I made this was Christmas. This was our Christmas Day dessert. And I accidentally put orange essence in instead of vanilla. I wasn't reading the labels properly. Now, that wasn't an issue for me or Dad or Sue, who we had around for Christmas. It was an issue for Louis because he doesn't like chocolate orange. So I promised him I'm not going to get them mixed up. I've already taken the vanilla extract out, so I will add this in. But this is where you could add whatever you want in. Add some flavourings, whatever you fancy. Could add some coffee. Okay, so it's not the smoothest mix, and that's because of obviously the melted chocolate. You're then mixing it with cold ingredients, so it will start to solidify, which is why you've got to be quite quick when you're mix it in with the cream cheese. It's why I mixed it in with the cream cheese first before anything else, just so it didn't just solidify in a lump. Obviously, when you're baking it, it'll just melt back together again, and you end up with a very, very silky cheesecake. But there you go. That's what the mix looks like. And the ninja beeped at me saying it's done. I've obviously let it sit in there. Yeah, okay, so that's perfectly well done. Let me get a towel. Actually, where's the need that? So cooling rack, towel. Alright, so I'm going to stick the ninja on bake 140. I hope it goes down this way. Yeah, it does. And we'll put it on for 45 minutes. Again, we can always bake it for longer if it's not ready, but you can't take time away. So that's preheating. That'll take seconds because it's still really hot. And then, so what to show you? Oh my god, it smells great. So it's nice and golden. It's still very soft. So because obviously you don't want it to be like a proper snap biscuit because it's still going to bake for another hour. So you don't want to overdo it. But that's what it's like. It's a nice golden colour. It's like if you were to roast hazelnuts rather than completely charcoaling them, which we sometimes do when we forget they're in the oven. There you go. The grill says it's already done. So I'm going to do maybe 2/3 of this mix. Oh, there's some at the bottom which I haven't mixed in. I'm going to do about 2/3. And then I'll get some. Do I have any? Yeah. No, am I not going to be able to reach them? Give me a minute. Just empty the cupboard. No, I can't. Dad, can you come and get some cupcake cases, please? Can't reach them. The back of the cupboard. Short person problems. I can't reach the silicone cupcake cases.
Oh.
At the back. I was thinking I'm going to put some of this mix in them.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just, that's about 2/3 of the mix. What do you reckon? Is that enough, or should I add some more?
That looks plenty to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'd rather it be a little bit flatter than normal than it be too deep and it not bake properly. That's my only worry, baking it in the...
Well, the only thing that happens if it's too much, it sinks in the middle, doesn't it?
Right, okay.
So it'll bake, but it'll fall back in.
Alright, so if you've just tuned in, see that I'm doing this catch-up thing there if they're watching live. If you've just tuned in, I've used I've used the full base. So
previously on
here's one I made it. No, I'm not that prepared.
Saturday. No, call it Saturday Kitchen. You can get copyright for that, wouldn't you?
Ella's Keto Kitchen.
Ella's Keto Kitchen.
I'll rip off Michelle's brand. It's fine. I've used the full base throughout the recipe that's in the library and in the books. The full base has gone in. So it'll probably be a bit of a thicker base than normal, but about 2/3 of the cheesecake mix has gone in, just because it's a little bit of a smaller tin than normal, and I'm going to try it out baking some in these little cupcake cases. I won't bake these with this and then Ninja. I'll wait until, actually I'll see if they fit. These will only take like 5-10 minutes max. But I'm excited to see how they turn out because I've not tried that before. So that's going to go in the Ninja. I've set the timer for 45 minutes. Obviously, we won't be still live by the time it's done, but I will post on Facebook and Instagram the results and also how long it took. So whack that in. So I'm going to put this in the center of the grill, just so it doesn't bake unevenly. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to fit the cupcakes around it, just because of the grill has the tray that's in it, but the tray's got like a step around the outside, which means that these would be wonky. So coffee break. Right, don't need that. Okay, so let's get rid of the rest of this mix. So these are little silicone cases. We've had them for donkey's years. They're really good. We don't use paper cases now, especially with keto baking. They tend to stick. So whenever I write a recipe, I say use silicone cases because they just make life easier. Okay, so let's see how much. We've got quite a lot of mix left, so we'll see how much I fit. I don't want to overdo it. I don't know whether these will rise more because there's a little bit less. Obviously, I'm not running out. I have no idea how much mix is going in each of one of these. Mix has travelled so far up the spatula now. But these are very, very handy. I do prefer using them over whisks because whisks tend to get clogged up. You don't have an Ninja grill in it? Yeah, it can be cooked in a normal oven. So any of our recipes on the website or in the books, their instructions are for normal ovens because we made them when we were just using that oven. So if you have a fan or a Ninja, then just tweak the temperatures, probably reduce time. That's basically it. That's the rule of thumb. But just use the bake function, and if you've got a normal oven, just follow the recipe as it says. So I finished off my sweetener-free week yesterday. Yesterday was my last day of it, which is great because I've made an absolute state of making these, and I wouldn't have been able to go through the whole video without licking my fingers. Let's move some of that. It's a bit overly full. Nice. Let me know how you get on. I do like when I go live, and you know, people like what they see me make. We then get a little flurry of photos of people making the same recipe. It's really nice to see. So thanks for posting. We never get bored of seeing what you make. It's always really nice. Right. Let's get the spatula out and let's scrape the outside of the bowl. No mix is wasted. So if you remember watching this, are you taking part in Michelle's class today? She's making, what's she making? She's making the caterpillar cake, isn't she? So Michelle, if you get us sued, I won't be talking to you. We don't want to get into the drama of that, the caterpillar cake debate between the stores. And then she's also making sausage plat, I think. Will you guys ever replace your conventional oven, or are you totally sold on the Ninja Bread brand now? So the reason why we originally got the foodie, other than people saying, why haven't you got one yet? It was a bit of a craze in the groups, and we felt left out. But that oven needs to go anyway. It's on its last legs. It doesn't get used anymore. It's very inefficient. Because of it's older than me, I think. When you heat the oven, the entire kitchen heats up, which isn't great when you're cooking in the summer, but obviously also isn't great for just general energy usage. So we will be replacing it, and we do have our eyes on the Ninja oven that's currently only available in the US. But yeah, so I mean, we use the foodie and the grill because we don't use the ovens enough. You know, we don't use big tray bakes. There's only 3 of us, and they work fine for what we make. And they also double as, you know, making the yogurt, making the bone broth, as a slow cooker. So they do everything we need. So it's not that we're like completely and utterly, we are only Ninja, but they do exactly what we need them to do. Vicky asked, how have you felt after a sweetener break? I felt really good. I just wanted, I know I really enjoy this because I haven't had something like this for a while. I've been having Greek yogurt and berries basically for dessert. And I really like that as well. I felt a little bit more energized. Yeah, I think I just wanted a break because I was making loads of sweet stuff for lives. And actually I was making more sweet stuff this week for photos, which is all in the freezer, and I haven't been fussed by it. So if I was still on my sweetener break, I would have just frozen all of this. And it'd been fine. So to answer Liz's question, yes, you can freeze it, or we have. Okay, so I've got 5 little cupcakes that will go in once the main cheesecake has been baked, just so I don't mess with that. I will just smooth down the tops a little bit, see if I can get the, you know, the proper cheesecake look on top rather than just like a mess. I don't know whether I've overfilled these, but I don't think I have, because there's no, apart from the eggs, there's no sort of baking agent in them, or raising agent, should I say. So they're not gonna, they don't puff up a lot. Cheesecakes are basically just rise a little bit, then sink down and go all silky. So, hi Gemma. Okay, so those are there. So the last step to the cake is the topping. Now I was debating whether or not I make this, and what I think I'll do instead is I will film it, just because it works better when you make it and put it directly on the cake, and obviously the cake isn't going to be done for another half an hour. But I'll talk you through it anyway. So I got down all the equipment so I could show. So the ganache. Lots of the quick way of making like a chocolate ganache is melt chocolate, add some cream, mix it together, and it goes slightly thicker. But if you heat the cream until boiling, so I've got a glass bowl here, I would pour in the 100 ml of double cream, pop a lid on it, microwave for a minute. You need a lid on, otherwise you'll lose the cream and you'll spend a while cleaning the microwave. Been there, done that. microwave until bubbling, and then it's 25 grams of dark chocolate. So it's one of these bars. Break it up into really small portions, and with a spoon, mix the cream, add the chocolate in, and keep mixing. And you'll see the chocolate start to melt in the cream, because obviously the cream is very, very hot. It'll start as flakes, and then it'll go darker and darker and darker, and it ends up looking like melted milk chocolate. Add sweetener if you want. So we've said 10 grams of sweetener. You can leave the sweetener out entirely. I will see if we need it. I don't think we will. I might just add a bit of vanilla extract in. We have said sweetener just because obviously the cheesecake is also chocolate, so it's quite a dark thing, so you might need some, whereas you wouldn't normally. And then leave it to cool down for 10 to 15 minutes, and it starts to thicken up. This won't solidify, whereas the chocolate, if you just melt chocolate and then add cold cream in, it goes fudgy almost instantly, whereas this stays as like a drizzle. So then you can drizzle it on top of your cake, get these gorgeous like drip lines all the way down. I used it, where's Bricks Bakes? Used it for the marble celebration cake. So I don't know whether you can see that, but the truffles are held on with the ganache, and it was dripping down the sides. It looks really pretty. So the ganache stays as a fudge, but it will set to hold anything in place like those truffles. And if you freeze it, it still stays slightly soft. So it really, really works. It's one of Louis's best inventions, and I have to give it credit to him. So that's the topping. So the method is wait for the cheesecake to come out, let it properly cool, let it sink down, and whilst it's cooling, you can make the ganache, let that cool down, and then once that's a little bit thicker, because obviously if it's too runny, it'll just kind of fall off the cake. You want it to be a little bit thick, and the cake cool enough so that it doesn't just re-melt everything once it's poured on, and then just let it sit and properly set for about an hour. So pour the topping on the cheesecake and refrigerate for an hour to set, and then you can cut it when it'll be all nice and silky. We can have. There was something else I was going to say. I've lost my train of thought. So, yeah. So you can. I was debating whether I make it now or not. You can, if you want. If you wanted to make this in advance, you can make it, let it set, put it in the fridge. It'll set too much for you to drizzle it on top. It'll set like a fudge. Microwave it again. Give it a mix. It looks a bit darker, but you just got to keep mixing it in, and it'll eventually turn to what you needed it to, and then you can pour it back on the cake. So that's the method for the ganache. And last thing before I go, this is a brand new recipe I was trying out, and actually it's worked out perfectly. This is a I'm going to call this cinnamon crunch or something like that. This is a nut-free granola. So I've used sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, linseed, and coconut chips. For normally in the granola recipe I use nuts chopped up with some milled seeds and flaked almonds as like the yolks. Coconut chips are a fantastic alternative. So that's what I mean. It's lovely and crisp. It doesn't need a lot of sweetener because of the coconut as well, because obviously that's quite sweet anyway. So I just melted down some butter. I mean, if you want the granola recipe, head over to the website, search granola, you'll find it there. Yeah, bit of melted butter, only 25 grams. You can use coconut oil if you want a dairy-free. Melt it down, mix all the seeds and the coconut chips in, and then I added some sweetener, some mixed spice, but you can use just cinnamon if you fancy, and then baked for about 10 minutes at 180 in a normal oven, in the grill 160, and that was really, really good. Okay, that's me done. Now you can also whisk ganache in a mixer to make a filling for ice. I'm going to need to try that. I need to make a cake now just to try that. Its texture will be light and fluffy, a bit like buttercream. Thanks, Anita. I'll have a go at that. All right, thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry you can't see the final result, but it's a cheesecake. It takes a little while to cook, and I'm not Michelle. I can't just stay here and talk for 2 hours. So if you're on YouTube, head over to our Facebook or our Instagram pages where you'll see the result. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow. I might appear in the live. Dad's live tomorrow making bubble and squeak. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.